What?
Washington wins. So we got to do it right.
What are we doing?
Nothing, I guess.
Oh, I thought you were doing your song.
There you go.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Commanders. We fight for RDC. Who are we? The Commanders. Left hand up. Who are we? Burgundy and gold.
Yes, indeed. Back to you once again. Washington wins over Arizona 20-17. I'm sorry, 20-16. Of course, it's myself, the big guy KG, as you cannot see, because I am indisposed and tasting banana pudding, and it's a real good victory banana pudding. Sitting in alongside the one, the only Midnight Rider.
Let's go, baby.
1-0. Notre Dame's 3-0. Shoot. Let's go.
Yeah, make it happen, baby.
Make some stats.
Let's see what we looking for first and foremost, my brother.
Well, offense, because the offense at one point was getting booed.
Oh, I saw a lady actually mouth. I think it was the blitz in the third quarter. Howell tries to throw the hot to the back out of the backfield, and 97 tips the ball. And a lady like mouths, let's just take him out of the ball game because they put it on one of the fans in the background. So let's talk about this Washington Commanders offense. Sam Howell, QB, 19-31, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. In the running game, Brian Robinson, I have to make sure I say this right, 19 carries, 59 yards, 3.1 average, longest carry, 7 yards. Sam Howell, who we just mentioned, 2 carries, 11 yards, 1 TD, 5.5 average, longest run, 6 yards. Antonio Gibson, 3 carries, 9 yards, 3.0 average, 1 fumble loss. Chris Rodriguez, 3 carries, 7 yards, 2.3 carry average per carry, no TDs. Curtis Samuel, 1 rush, 6 yards, 6.0, of course, is his average. Getting to the receiving core. The receiving core, Curtis Samuel, 5 catches, 54 yards, no TDs. Logan Thomas, 4 catches, 43 yards, no TDs. Let's put a star beside that name. Josh Doctson, 5 receptions, 40 yards. Terry McLaurin, 2 for 31. Cole Turner, 1 for 17. Antonio Gibson, 1 for 10. Brian Robinson, 1 for 7. On the Cardinal side of the ledger, Joshua Dobbs, 21 of 30, 132 yards, no TDs. James Conner, 14 carries, 62 yards, 0 TDs. M. Brown, I think that's Hollywood Brown, 1 attempt, 29 yards, no TDs. Rondale Moore, 2 attempts, 12 yards. Dobbs, 3 attempts, -3 yards. K. Ingram, -4 yards on 5 attempts. In terms of the receiving game, Rondale Moore, again, 3 for 33 yards, no TDs. Hollywood Brown, 3 for 28. Trey McBride, 2 for 23. Zach Ertz, 6 receptions, 21 yards. M. Wilson, 2 for 19. James Conner, 5 for 8 yards. And Zach Pascal, 1 target, no catches, 0 yards. In the kicking game, Matthew Prater for the Cardinals, 3 for 3 on field goals, 1 for 1 extra points. For the Commanders, Joey Slide, 2 for 2 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. And those are your game stats for the Washington Commanders versus the Arizona Cardinals, where the game ended in the 20-16 KG, where do you want to start?
Well, let me say this, and let me do this early so I can get it out the way. All you scared to death fans, all you fickle fans that want people to be benched in the first game off of one, please take your ass to Texas, Arizona, Florida. Take your ass somewhere else other than DC, because we don't need your energy here. That's number one. Number two, Ross made a great comment. They need to run the ball a little more. Yeah, they do. But I think as of today, as of right now, this very moment, 4:44 on the East Coast, Sunday, September 12th. I'm sorry, Sunday, September 10th. Antonio Gibson will no longer be a featured back in this offense.
Well, I mean, that fumble was a punch out, man. You gotta, like, I think we're overreacting. People make mistakes on their job.
No,
that was a punch out off the side. It wasn't something egregious. I mean, it's just a bad play. That's all. I mean, I don't think he's never going to be the feature back here. I think they showed you that with the fact that they gave 13 carries to Gibson, and then the other carries they gave, I mean, not Gibson, to Robinson, and then all the other important carries went to Rodriguez. So they're showing you they're not featuring him in their run game, but they're giving him plays because when he comes on the field, you have to keep everybody honest.
I get that. But the reason why I say he won't be the feature back is because after everything he did in his year, pretty good second year, the problem is he fumbled. It's like when he's in traffic, that's when he doesn't cover the points of the ball. He doesn't roll with it. He doesn't cover the points. And even though he was going down, he still had that ball exposed. That's where you should have had two hands when that ball falling. You're in traffic. The first thing they're going to do is stand you up and punch it out. That's common sense. That's knowledge. They teach you that on the Pee-wee football level. Just saying. I'm not knocking them. I don't want to see the kid go down like this.
Yeah, I just don't want to be one of those guys that everybody's like, oh, we got rid of him. We need to get rid of him. Then he goes somewhere else and it's like, oh, we never should have gotten rid of this kid. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Like, don't be out here asking for this man's job, and then next year when he goes somewhere else and has like 100-yard game, you're like, oh my God, we should have got rid of him. This is how it always happens. Commanders play somewhere else and they start to shine. It's like, no, let's stop that narrative. Because that narrative is partially fraudulent. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I went off on the tangent.
I was saying kind of like Alf. Like when we let Alf go, I think that was a narrative of what happened. You know, everybody was like, well, we should have never let him go.
But he did nothing wherever he went. He was the third back everywhere he went. And the one good game he had was, of course, against Washington. Everybody was like, see, I told you. No, that's not how this works. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's break it down to the bone gristle.
What you got?
All right, so let's talk about it. Actually, let's go with first thoughts off of this game with our quarterback, Sam Howell. What did you think? What did you feel? Just initial thoughts.
Initially?
Yeah. I'm talking about off of the whole game, not just off the first drive. I'm talking about game one. Encapsulate your thoughts of the whole game for him.
The kid's a baller.
Okay.
He's a baller. One thing that people don't realize that this guy, the way he had his pocket presence. Yeah, later in the game, he took a couple sacks that he probably shouldn't have, but offensive line let him down there too. But it's times that offensive line held up and he stood in there. He delivered strikes. He was finding guys open. And when it was time to roll, he got the hell out of the pocket. And he was like, hell, I'm gone. You know, only thing I wish he would have slid a little bit more. But it seemed like Arizona was playing dirty and head hunting anyway. But God damn it, the boy can ball. That boy bad. I like him. I like him a lot. I'm
Come
very,
on.
very on
Oh, I'm
Sam
sorry.
Howell. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think the kids showed you the moxie that you needed from a quarterback. This team had so many situations where they could have just packed it in and could have just been like, yeah, we can't get it done today. And I felt like he fought in those moments. And I think the biggest thing for me was watching them come out after the fumble for the touchdown and Eric Bieniemy and company trusted him enough to try to take us down the field and get those points. Because I don't think we win this ball game if we don't get those points in that scenario. And I think that showed everybody that we have faith in this kid to do what it has to do, or what it needs to do to win ball games.
I agree. I agree.
So something for us. If you have 3, it could be 2, whatever. Let's talk about the guys that stood out to you on the tape today, on first blush. That way we're not looking at the old 22s and figuring it out. Just like what you saw, what you liked. Like, give me some guys that just, stamped the card and gave you some validation on what you thought before the season started.
Number 1, Montez Sweat. He was active. He was really, really getting after it today. And I knew Montez got a motor. I knew all that. I knew that before this game. However, my man's really got into it and got going. And I said it in our Sideline Junkies 24/7 group. Montez got to be the one. He's got to be the one re-signed first. I'm holding out hope for Chase because I'm holding out hope that he has a good season as well, double-digit sacks, everything. I'm hoping he has a healthy season after he comes back in week 3 against Buffalo. But yeah, Montez Sweat they need to start working on his deal right now. Get him locked up before the end of the season. Number 2, got to be Brian Robinson. I mean, I knew the cat ran hard, but watching him carry dudes and, move the pile, he don't go down first contact. He reminds me of what I thought Jared Patterson was 2 years ago, where he just kind of stumbles into 5 to 7 yards. But if he breaks loose, it's off to the races. That's how I felt about Patterson 2 years ago. But it seems like Robinson's a bigger, more rough and tumble back. I mean, I guess you could consider him a power back.
Right.
He rocks it. Then of course, this dude never surprises me. You know what you're gonna get out of him, but I always got to give him big props, and that's Tress Way.
Okay. Yeah, he flipped the field on that 159-yarder. Yeah,
he's dropping punts inside the 10. He's dropping them inside the 5. I love the way special teams rolling, but Tress Way is just, he's my guy. I've fallen in love with obscure players and guys that you would never be like, you're a fan of? Yeah. Like I would, if I could find one, and I'm actually looking for one, I'm gonna get me a Tress Way jersey.
You can probably get off the team page, not so much the Fanatics page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the team shop, you could probably find you a 5 Tress Way.
And Ross said punt coverage is on point.
So see, Ross reading the mind.
And he also says well.
So my number 1 guy was Jeremy Reaves, because today I felt like every time the ball got kicked and we needed somebody to make a tackle and make a play, it was Jeremy Reaves making the play. 39 was all over the place. He showed you why he's a Pro Bowler for special teams. Number 2 is right where you said it, Montez Sweat. I think Sweat showed up and showed out. He got you the sack fumble. He came back and got another hit for a loss, and he almost cost another sack later. I mean, he got another sack later on. So the guy has been around the football the whole time today. and he made some plays in some key situations where I think if Arizona converted, we're talking about this ball game in a very different way. So definitely put him in that mix for sure. And then for me, it's Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson just keeps showing me game in and game out that he's going to be that dude. And it might not be Terry as a 1. It might be a 1A, 1 and a 1A situation, or a 1A and 1B, because Dotson just has this knack for getting open and making plays, man. So, I mean, I think we're in for an interesting season as long as we can cut the turnovers out. So now that we got our standouts, we got to talk about the guys that stunk it up today. And there was some situations where, I mean, good guys. I don't even know what to say, man. But it was some bad situations. So who do you have? I know we talked about one player, and I don't know if you're gonna bring them up, but like, who stunk it up? Let's do another 3 guys, because it's definitely 3 guys that stunk it up today.
Yes. As far as the 3 that stunk it up, I was very disappointed in Logan today.
Yes,
I was disappointed in Logan Thomas. For various reasons, but dropping passes, and it was passes that he normally catches. I was disappointed in him today. Ross said Cheeseman.
yes.
He was disappointed. Secondly, I was disappointed in Gibson. Very disappointed in Gibson.
Because of the fumble. Okay.
And thirdly, the second half play of the offensive line. Let me rephrase that. The third quarter play of the offensive line. Late second, early third. Because you were holding your own against his defense. Against his defense. And then all of a sudden, it's like the dam sprung a leak. But nobody wanted to put their finger in the dike. So, I mean, like, come on, you had to do something.
Nobody want to put their finger in the what?
What? When you plug up a dam, it's called putting your finger in the dike.
Oh, okay. Just make sure I heard what I heard. That's an interesting concept, but we're going to stay away from that.
Nobody wanted to plug the leak.
Yeah, and I totally agree, man. So I think we're pretty much in lockstep. I had, like Ross, I had Cheeseman because that first snap did a bounce. So I think if you have trust in your situation as a guy that stood out or anything, one of the things that he stood out doing was actually keeping the kick or keeping the ball in place so that Joey Slock could even make that kick in that ball game. I think for me, Gibson is another person. And then I don't know. I think I want to just blame our guard center combination, period, as a group for my third person that stunk it up. Because I think there was a couple situations where they tried to pass people off. They didn't pass it off correctly. They got blown up a couple times. I saw one where maybe Robinson tripped them up. And that was another situation. And then I know this is off script, but I think the fourth is, I think the referees, to a certain extent, once they got shorthanded, I felt like some of the mechanics was poor, and just their operation and getting things done. There was the situation where Gibson had the first down, and for some reason they didn't rule the first down, which didn't make sense because when he fell, his knees were on top of the guy and his arms fell over the imaginary line, but they didn't even give us that in terms of that. And they were like, oh, you couldn't see it. Well, you couldn't see it because his knees is on top of somebody. But I don't know, man. I just didn't like the way this thing played out and the way the referees didn't. I mean, they blessed us on one and gave us an extra half yard or two, but they also hurt us later on in the ball game. So I would definitely say that as a problem or an issue. So now that we've given you our standouts, the people that stunk the ball game up, let's just give a quick overall view, and then we can get out of here and stay under 30 minutes.
Yeah, I lost the audio for a second. Hopefully you can hear me.
I couldn't hear you, so I just kept going and kept talking.
Well,
So,
that's what you're supposed to do.
so I don't know. The problem is I don't know whose copy is going to be the one that gets posted. Where I'm the one talking, or you're the one talking. But
Well, no, it had to be you. I was on mute. So,
all right, cool. All right, so yeah,
overall, good win. I don't want people to get too far ahead of themselves. And, granted, we all thought, yeah, this should have been a laugher. This should have been over middle of the third quarter. But when does Washington ever do anything easy? It's always rough. So, and this is a rough win, but it wasn't the prettiest of wins. But I'd rather win ugly than lose pretty. I say that all the time.
And I think I said it. Y'all gave me jokes about it, calling me Baby Joe Gibbs, but I just don't. Whenever this team is supposed to do something easy, it never comes out their way. And I felt like the Cardinals are going to they won't have this advantage because we've never seen their coaching staff intact. So you don't know exactly what they're going to do. You kind of start guessing. And I think that gave them an advantage in this ball game because they came out and I think on their second or third drive, they hit a nice pass up the sideline on a wheel route to Rondale Moore that I don't think we were expecting because the way they stacked the coverage and attacked our coverage. So whenever things like that happen, A, that's film study, but also B, this team is just doing something that we weren't expecting, and they caught us off guard in the moment, and they took advantage of it. And I think they had a couple plays like that throughout the course of the ball game where they just caught us because we didn't have an idea of who they were going to be and what they were going to be, and especially on the defensive side, number 45, I think it was crackback. That dude balled out. I mean, if you're an Arizona fan, 45 is somebody that you can just put your hat on that and say that dude's gonna ball out every week. The other kid, number 52, he showed up every time we were looking to make a play. He made a stop. So there's some interesting things going on in Arizona. We probably think about all the big names, but what we forget about is sometimes when people believe and they get together and gather around what they believe in, it makes it hard for them to not be successful because even though the outside world doesn't believe in you, you believe in yourself.
I agree with that. Coming through with some comments, Boss BJ says, hopefully they tighten up. It's going to be a long season if not. And I think the defense played very well. They swarmed to the ball. They look really, really overly aggressive today. Sure. Just look aggressive. Keefy from the block, Keith Slidell says, man, how many chances we going to give Gibson? To be honest, I think he's already in Bieniemy's doghouse. Even though I get it, that wasn't his fault, but something's got to light a fire in his ass. And this might have to be it. Keith also says the offensive line might be a problem. I think we're gonna have to tinker with that because I was reading on Twitter, somebody was like, Leno's getting beat like he stole something.
Well, I think if you notice, there was one stretch where Stromberg was actually in the ball game on that screen pass to Gibson. Stromberg was in the ball game, and I think his motor skills, if he had better motor skills, maybe and better awareness, that may not have been as close as that play ended up being, or we wouldn't have ended up short.
Which I don't think we were short, but that's my.
Right. Nobody believes that, but I mean that's the way they called it.
But overall, week 1 for the Washington Commanders is in the books. What do you give as a grade overall?
I give the team a C. I mean, I think they passed certain tests. So we saw, I think the biggest test that we learned, or the biggest lesson we learned today, is that Sam Howell can be in a bad situation and come out the next drive and put together a drive that will win ball games or will help this team win in the future. So in that regard, I feel like we've learned we've checked off a box. I'll say it that way. We checked off the fact that this kid has tenacity, he has moxie. So we know that now. Now going forward, we've got to figure out the next couple of things. We still have to figure out what's going on with this offensive line. We have to figure out what is Montez, because I feel like he had a great day today. But let's get some consistency. Let's see you get that. Let's see you be that 12 sack guy. You know what I'm saying? That guy that you talked about being. Let's see you get there.
You got me broadcast boys.
Say that again.
You got me feeling like the broadcast boys right now. When you said that, he was like, let's see. Daddy, chill. No, we know what he is. We know he's a dog. We know we know he can bring it. We know he got it. We know he can do it. And he's been showing it the last 2.5, 3 seasons.
But there's this. All right. So when we were talking about tennis, there was that switch that people talked about. I haven't seen that switch. I think he made 2 great plays today. And I need to see what he does next week. Because yes, the potential's there, the dog is there, but I can't have this season end and he have 8.5, 9 sacks, and people keep telling me he's a dog. He's not a dog in that situation. So that's why I say I want to see it before I start believing it.
But now here's the thing. Then if he does get, let's say he gets in the range of 12 to 15 sacks, and that's on the low end.
12 to 15 is the low end?
That's on the low end of what he could get, but he gets 12 to 15. Then all of a sudden, most of his sacks came against the Giants, or most of his sacks came against the Cowboys. He doesn't do well against this one. He doesn't do well against that one. That was the same knock that was on Ryan Kerrigan, because Ryan Kerrigan finished almost every season with double-digit sacks. Well, most of his sacks came against the Giants.
No, I mean, all right, so let's I don't want to rehash certain things, but for me, I always felt like Ryan Kerrigan was Captain Tryhard. He did his thing. He got sacks, but there were certain plays and certain situations where he wasn't dynamic enough. So there's a difference between being on TJ Watt's level and Ryan Kerrigan's level. And I felt like DC fans tried to make Ryan Kerrigan their TJ Watt, but he wasn't there. He can't match up. He can't match up with Von Miller because he doesn't have the explosiveness and the quick twitch muscles to make him that dynamic of an end. He's always going to be consistent, and nobody can fight his consistency. But sometimes you need that special. You need that extra, and that's the part where I think he struggled at. He didn't have that extra.
Okay. The Boss BJ gives it a grade of D+. Keep from the block gives it a B-. I'm gonna go with a C+. I'm gonna go in between and go with a C+ there. Ross said same thing. I was thinking Howard took another step. I thought the RS of the line was far worse than the LS. Ooh.
I think this might have been, I don't know about that one.
I think
offensive line and defensive line, I don't know for sure.
But I thought this team played very, very well in the first and the fourth quarter. I thought the defense really stepped up in the second half. I don't know what was said, but whatever was said, yeah. I don't know if they was told that if y'all don't win this game, you don't get hat day tomorrow. The buffet gonna be 2 trays of food short. It ain't gonna be no gumbo, or it ain't gonna be no wings and mumbo sauce. Oh, right side, left side. That's what he said.
Got you.
Right side of the line was far worse than the left side of the line. I got you, Ross.
Well, I think Cosme came out for a play, so I mean, again, that sticks to that. And then another issue I had that Chris Paul was inactive, even though you brought up Spencer Larson and you had Stromberg active. So I didn't understand that combination. If this guy was fighting for reps between 1 and 2, how does he go from 1, 2 to 3? So that's another question I would love to hear the answer to. Of course, we're talking now, and probably Ron's had his post-game presser and I know this didn't come up, so maybe it'll come up tomorrow when the guys get to have a chance to look at the film and just kind of come back and talk to Ron about certain things. Any last words or last thoughts, KG?
As far as Commanders go, no, let's enjoy the win. We can enjoy the win today. Tomorrow's Take Your Pants Off Monday. So please, please, please take your pants off and celebrate. Because come Tuesday, it's a new week. And we got to get prepared for the next outing. And
we at the Sideline Junkies don't want you to take your pants off, especially in the workplace or in public. Maybe in the privacy of your own home, maybe. But I don't know if we want you doing that in public because we don't pay anybody's tickets. And we're not paying anybody's fines. So you get arrested for taking your pants off, and you said the Sideline Junkies told us to do it. We're not responsible for it.
Well, hold on. I've been taking my pants off for the last 11 years.
Hey, bruh, TMI. Too much. I don't need to know that.
Take them all, baby.
I don't need to know about you porky pigging it.
Come on. Take them all.
Nah, good. I like to be at work comfortable. I like my pants on at work.
But we will be celebrating Victory Monday the correct way. And that's what it means.
Okay.
If you ever want to go back and listen while you drive, listen while you're at work, we are on all your streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, even on the smaller one, Stitcher, Podbean, Podchaser. We on every platform you can think of for your listening pleasure. And you can't see our beautiful faces all the time because you got to work. So sometimes you might just have to listen to us. And then also, you can also hit us up. We got a chat. We got an email. We got anything you need. You got some discussion topics. We got those too. So, once again, Commanders win 20-16 over the Arizona Cardinals. Ross said, HR hit you, brother.
Thank you.
Well, hold on. See, I don't have to worry about that because my HR is not here. My HR is in Ohio.
Hey.
So I'm okay.
I'm just making sure people can't come back to us and be like, but the Sideline Junkie said that I can take my pants off at work and I'll be okay. No,
okay. Here's the out. If you take your pants off at work and HR comes to you, direct HR to our HR, and they can have a conversation and we can get it hashed out. We might even get you a raise.
All right. Again, those comments are solely of KG, not of the Sideline Junkies.
Okay, let me rephrase that. We might can get you a raise, or we might can get you some extended time off. You can't have both.
All right, here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first post-game show of the Commander season. I'm the Midnight Rider, Ben Conti. That's the big guy, KG. We thank you for just checking us out for this short little 30-minute show. We look forward to seeing you, I guess, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. We got to get our Joe the Fan lined up, too.
All right. So now we got to get somebody to help us out. So if you went to the game today and you got comments or you know somebody that went to the game and they'll be willing to hop on with us, they don't have to be in our circle. They could be Joe the policeman from down the street. They could be Randy Watson. They could be anybody. If you know somebody that went to the game and they willing to get on with us and talk, like shoot them to us and we'll make the arrangements and we can make it happen, man. Because I really want to feel or understand what I know my TV showed me today and the fans were live, but I want to hear for someone that was in that room, in that building, to understand what that experience was like.
Most definitely.
So I'll let you close us out.
Well, you know how I'm going to close it out, man. Y'all know. Well, we'll see y'all on Tuesday because we don't do no overtime, y'all. We are out of here.